definitely not tech. There's stacks of tech, and if you figure out how to use it, you'll do well with it. But having the process and the people has always been the hard thing.
So today I'm joined by Trent McLaren, co-founder of Vinyl, co-founder of the firm, and founder of Journey. Trent, thanks for being here. Before we dive in, for anyone listening who doesn't know you yet, can you give a quick intro in your own words, and what do you do today? How did you end up in this world?
Yeah, look, it's a long story, but I know we've got a shorter on time today. My name's Trent, and I've been working in the accounting industry for nearly 13, 14 years now, primarily on the software vendor side, pretty much always on the software vendor side. And I've been running my own business called Journey for 3 years now. And I was just saying to you before, it's our 3rd birthday today. So the team and I have been...
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an exciting moment, I think, because when I look at all the other things we're doing with Vinyl and the firm, we couldn't have done all those things without Journey, and I think that's the fun part. And there's a lot of other people I could thank for everything that came into this stage. But yeah, a lot of hard lessons as a business owner to learn in your first proper business, and yeah, Journey is definitely the place where
Quite a
you get
name,
to...
what a journey.
I know. That's been my dad joke all day today. Is like, thanks for being on the journey, guys. So yeah, it's that's me. So yeah, worked in accounting tech for 13 years, run a few different businesses. The other one that's been going really well for us is Vinyl, which is our software tech startup. We recently raised $2 million in investment for that back in June last year. And some of that money coming from other founders that are in the accounting space. So people like Guy Pearson from Ignition, Richard McLean from KeyPay, Michael Wood from Dext or Receipt Bank. So we were surrounded by just great people that have been here and done amazing jobs building amazing businesses and companies for the accounting industry. And we're just hoping to, follow in those same footsteps.
I love that. And it's obvious you've been, in long enough that you've seen the shiny version of the industry and also the messy version as well. Eh?
Yeah, there's
So,
definitely two sides. There's the what we all see and post on social media, and then there's what actually happens in the Slack
inside.
channels and the support tickets and the bugs and the late nights and when things go wrong, the things that you don't want anyone to hear about, really. So yeah, it's
So when you look
the
back,
fun part.
what's the moment you realize this industry is like way more complex than people think?
I mean, if you're an accountant, it's a complex industry. It's only outsiders that think it can be automated and streamlined and, AI is going to take everyone's jobs. If you ask someone that actually works in accounting that has done this for a long time, then they understand that is going to be really hard and difficult, and largely because things change so regularly. Compliance changes so often that tech companies can't generally keep up with the speed of the change that comes with those elements. And every country represents different challenges. Australia's the most complex country in the world when it comes to payroll. America's sales tax, when you look at between different counties and states and everything, is just bananas. Like, it's an absolute wild thing to try to build software for. And you've got a lot of legacy giants in there that, are out-resourced more than everyone else. But then with AI at the moment, it's interesting to watch how fast these other startups can come out of nowhere and really shake the tree a little bit. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting time. But I've known it's complex because I've had to work with so many accountants and bookkeepers during my sort of time in the industry, and I love it. It's fun. I think it's that mix of wasn't necessarily a numbers finance guy growing up. I was definitely entrepreneurial in business, and I think that's the side I appreciate when it comes to the accounting and bookkeeping piece, is that you get a really good understanding of impact and how to create results and, what does that mean for different people. There's the compliance and obligation side that, everyone has to be across. But I really enjoy the entrepreneurial side to accounting. That's what keeps me super interested in it all.
Yeah, that's the thing. From the outside, people think accounting is just numbers, right? But inside a firm, like, it's people, deadlines, trust, handovers, client emotions, and then like software sits on top of all that, right? Oh yeah.
Yeah, software
So
is
like
the
oh,
enabler to help get things done a little bit faster, a little bit more efficiently, to help hopefully give better clarity, better results, better lifestyle. Like, there's so many different ways to spin it. I find for me, tech enables me to do more work. It doesn't necessarily stop me doing less work. I feel like I'm working more and getting more done with all the tools and the tech at my disposal. And I think that's probably the same for most bookkeeping, accounting, but it does mean they get to get rid of the jobs they don't like doing. So, if you were hand coding, your bank statements and getting out the ruler to try to figure out, all right, what is this one? And yeah, like, a lot of that stuff's all long and gone, and people are happy for that. We don't want that job anyway. Happy to remove all the jobs I don't want to do.
exactly. So was there a specific moment like you realize, oh, I want to do this for the industry? A specific like this is broken or something like that?
For vinyl in particular, or just in general?
In general, yeah, because you have Vinyl, have the firm as well, right? We can talk
I
about that
fell in.
later.
I fell into this industry, to be honest. I joined a tech company in Canberra back in 2014, 15. No, sorry, it was 2012, going even further back. And they were an online payments company that sold payments into the accounting space as well as e-commerce. They were called eWay. And ever since that job, have just been in accounting ever since. I wanted to work in software. I thought that would be really fun for me. I was always interested in technology growing up, played a lot of video games, played a lot of sport, all those sorts of fun things. And yeah, I took this role when I was living in Canberra in this payments company called eWay. And they were one of the first integrated payment partners to Xero. And that was my sort of foray into this step. Uh, from there, I took a
It's a
role in
flow.
Sydney with QuickBooks, and everything just sort of then span out of that. Like, once I did that and took my next job with Practice Ignition at the time, there was no getting rid of me. I was running as
Was
hard
in
as I
already.
could. Yeah, I was running as hard as I could at this industry. I was traveling the world. I was standing on stages, doing a lot of public speaking and writing, and using social media to grow a brand and a profile. And yeah, it's just exploded out of that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Trent. So you around this ecosystem for a long time. If you compare firms today, like to 5 or let's say 10 years ago, what feels genuinely different, or and what has like hasn't changed at all? For example,
I think it depends on the country. Different countries experience different waves of how things tend to move. Australia tends to be one of the faster moving countries with adoption of technology and everything else. The thing that slows it all down is the government trying to keep up with that as well. So I kind of made that point before on tech companies can't necessarily always keep up with the speed of compliance changing and how that impacts. But then governments can't also keep up with all the things the tech companies are trying to do, and that can also, slow down progress and innovation at the same time. Um, I would also say that other software suppliers, there's a lot of choice for software these days, particularly in accounting. And that can also slow down the progress. Like, if you've got too many brands all beating the drum, all trying to get everyone's attention, it actually slows things down for everyone else as well. So,
a
there's
lot of
disadvantages
noise.
to having a monopoly in some certain circumstances, because we're at the risk of those providers like looking after us or not trying to like price gouge and all that. But then the opposite of that is that there's an issue when there's too many suppliers, because I don't know who to choose, and now it just is a lot of noise. They all look the same.
So
So there's different challenges on both sides. I think everyone's tolerance in Australia to try new things is still pretty high. They're happy to
yeah,
give things a go and see how it works, and they're always looking for more efficiencies. I think AI has injected a new wave of that, where all these existing
definitely.
solutions are finding how do you get more efficiencies within our product, so that you are clicking in less things and you are having to think a little bit less about the information you were trying to put into the system in the first place. Um, the one thing I think most accounting firms and bookkeepers have always been focused on is the result for their client. I don't think that has changed. I think the compliance has become a heavier burden, but they are very resilient in wanting to still do the best job that they, pledged to solving for as part of their CA, CPA. I think managing client expectations and client communications is actually the biggest issue most firms face, because services businesses are hard. I know that from
It
my
is, yeah.
time at Journey. It's a lot of work, and trying to just, and when you're working with people, it's always a lot of work. So yeah, there are a few
Yeah,
key
exactly what
thoughts,
I
I guess.
hear. Yeah. Yeah, I think there are more tools than ever, for sure. And, doesn't automatically mean more calm as well. And people are overwhelmed with so much, there's a lot of information there. Yeah. It's almost like the industry upgraded the tech faster than it upgraded how the workflows, right? It's funny. So why do you think that gap keeps happening? The tech and the how the industry adapts to the tech.
Um, I think it, I think technology companies are obviously looking for opportunity, and there's compliance is one of the things that's never going to go away. So if you're trying to build a company, a tech company, a software company today, you're looking at your market and where can I best build a solution that people are happy to pay for, and where do I build into something that is a regular problem. Compliance is a regular problem.
It
Bookkeeping,
is.
accounting, banking, like I'm going to spend money every day. That's never going to change. I need to account for all of that. That's never going to change. It's only going to get more intense. So therefore, I think for technology providers that are looking for better ways to solve problems and build a business with good commercials, accounting for me has always been a no-brainer. Like it's an industry that will, kind of forever be there, that I can continue to support and build solutions for. So yeah, I think that's the main driver. It's a good industry that continues to need and adapt and adopt to new solutions.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think like firms are overwhelmed by choice now? Like with,
I think overall, probably yes. On average, most people would say there's too many. There's more than 1,000 apps on the Xero App Store and the QuickBooks ecosystems. You don't need 1,000, but I know some firms that'll sit there and say, "Hey, we've got 30 or 40 or 50 different apps."
yeah,
We probably will see a consolidation into a all-in-one style practice management system, but even there are drawbacks within that as well. So you see a lot of practice management systems that are trying to be all-in-one, but they also have an ecosystem available so that you can choose the experience or the flows that you want to put in place. And the bigger challenge is trying to stay up to date with all of it.
it
So
is.
knowing there's 1,000 is tough. Knowing which ones or where to start is tough. There's now a marketplace for implementation partners,
Exactly.
people like me that spend all their time looking at all this stuff, so that when someone says, "Hey, I need a solution for document signing or for proposals or note taking or whatever it may be," there are some people that can just rattle it all off and go, "Cool, I know
Exactly.
exactly what's there and how it works." And yeah, it's crazy to think 10, 15 years ago, this ecosystem had just been born, and
Crazy.
now think about all the other markets within the markets that have been created off that. It's yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, pretty awesome, really. So from what you see, where does it usually like break down? Is it tools, people, or the way the work is designed?
Uh, it's probably all three. It's sometimes it's the tools, sometimes it's the people, and then sometimes it can just be the work. There are some forms that I cannot digitally sign still when I'm dealing with a bank or an agreement, and no tech is going to be able to solve that. That's a policy and a process and a legislation. So there are some things that need to catch up and get solved there so that the rest of my workflow can be sorted. And then there are just some people that just can't be helped, that have terrible expectations, that don't understand it, and they're sometimes uneducated, and that's tough as well. And then, yeah, there are tech and tools that have been designed and applied to accounting, but maybe not designed with an accounting use case primarily in mind. So you're going to get some things that are 80% good, but don't quite go to that full 20%. So I think the tech that tends to do best in accounting are the ones that are either built and born out of the accounting firm as an idea, or they're born and built by people that truly understand the audience and are only trying to solve problems for that audience. Yeah,
You understand the workflow as well, right? You need to adapt the
who
tools to the
understand the
workflow.
workflow.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel that the messy parts, like, is everything around it, right? The admin, the chasing, the follow-ups, the handovers, or who owns this. I think that's the messy.
It's extremely messy. Yeah, I mean, in an accounting firm, it's also just about structure and roles, I would say. So it's in the people bucket. But sometimes you got people that are chasing customers, clients for information, and their billable's like $100 an hour, or 150 an hour, or whatever it is. And some of that work should be with the admin. The admin that's their hourly rate is much lower, or there are appropriate times to use offshore outsourced teams.
Exactly.
I think people get bombarded with knowing how to do that and what that looks like. But if you've got strong offshore teams in place, then you are able to
Focus
deliver the
on
right work by the right people at the right price. And
exactly.
that can have a huge economic benefit if you can get that structure right.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they miss a lot of like to understand the whole workflow and adapt using the right tools to adapt to the workflow. I think because sometimes I feel that they do the opposite. They put the tools, a lot of apps, as you said before, and they, adapt to the application and to the system. They it need to be the opposite, right? So, from
100%.
your experience, what do like the best firms do differently?
I think they're super motivated on their customer. Like they're trying to think and act like an organization that is commercially driven. They have KPIs. They have team members that understand KPIs. They would consider their client satisfaction a KPI that they are trying to stick close to, and they genuinely just want the best outcome for both their team members and their clients. I think that is predominantly what the best accounting firms do, regardless of size. Um, and there are some that might take it the wrong way, and it's they can be extra, maybe greedy and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, it's each their own. Like you get to decide what sort of organization you want to run. But I think the best firms do all those things. So they're looking at their people, their processes, and their tech, and they're unified that around the company goals, key KPIs, and they communicate that culture and those goals so it's organization wide. Everyone
Yeah,
understands why they're in the business, what they're trying to do, and where they're headed.
yeah, 100%. Agree. So, I want to talk about the firm for a second. So, what made you want to build it?
So we started Journey, which was our marketing agency for software companies and accounting service providers. We have that team is built up of marketing people, content creation, web design. There's 23 staff. We work across 5 or 6 different countries. It's a decent sized team in business. We decided to start the firm because we are often working with other media providers on marketing campaigns, execution campaigns, and we also sit on a lot of content. Like we're so exposed to all the problems and gripes that the accounting industry has that we wanted to find a way to unify and bring all these things together. So we're trying to build a space for the accounting community. We're trying to build a space for the vendors to be able to, economically position themselves and get in front of their customers the right way. And it also just makes our life easier too, because if we're trying to match and pair up and run events for accounting firms, like we have this amazing platform to be able to do that from. We have these big, amazing databases that we can communicate to these people through to help bring all these things together. For us, it was a bit of a no-brainer. We had, ambition, direction, capability, skill set, resourcing. We had all the things to make it happen. And we think we can do a good job or a better job than most at trying to do it in a way that pleases everyone, like balances everyone's satisfaction with what we're trying to achieve. And yeah, that was honestly, that's just kind of where it all came
It's
from.
a really great initiative. Like I really get that because accountants have so much knowledge, but the industry hasn't like always had a good place to share like in a modern way, right? So like that's an amazing initiative. So it's not
Yeah,
even like
thank you.
yeah, if the wants to evolve, people wants examples of what good looks like, right? So they go there and it's amazing. So
Yeah.
what surprised you most once it was live?
Surprised me most. I mean, you obviously just want to make sure people like what you're doing, and
Yeah.
that they're enjoying it all. But yeah, we get lots of feedback every week. People that just said thank you so much. Like, you're spending time on things I don't have time to spend time on. So we don't make any money out of like the accounting, the readers, the people that come to consume and absorb all the content or anything like that. We make a little bit of money sometimes with the vendors that we work with, but primarily, if our journey marketing agency is like we make over a few mil a year in like professional service revenue, like our firm revenue's got to be less than 100 grand. Like, it's pretty
Yeah.
small in comparison. So it's not a big money driver in that sense for us, but we do a little bit here and there to just in a few scenarios where it sort of makes sense and we're not breaking any of the rules that we're trying to do. But yeah, biggest surprise, just that people enjoy it and like it and they continue to work with us, I think is probably
Yeah.
the main one. But we try to spend a good amount of time listening and reading and reviewing what everyone's talking about so that we can put the best information forward to
Yeah.
everyone.
So what kind of voices do you think like the industry needs more right now, especially here in Australia?
It's very practical, right? Like, people are busy and they just want to hear from people that have done the thing that they're having a problem with, or they want to hear from other people that are thinking about the things they're thinking about, and they know we're also going through the same things they're going through. I think accounting's always been a really interesting industry where they want to help each other and share. And, you don't necessarily see lawyers. And I mean, I don't chat to other marketing agencies in comparison, right? Like, I don't go to the marketing agency meetup to understand what they're all doing. Not because I genuinely just don't care, because like they're just different industries and verticals. I feel like I'm more closely in the accounting industry than I am in the marketing industry, if you get what I mean. Um, so it's accounting has been one of those places where they want to support and help each other. They want to hear from each other, and yeah, again, I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah. So do you think like firm leaders are becoming more open publicly?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It definitely depends on who they are, and some people are more motivated for other reasons. They want to buy or sell or merge. Therefore, they want to be a bit more open, and it's their version of branding themselves. And then you've got young up and comers, rising stars that are trying to do more things and they want to learn from other mentors and so forth. So yeah, I think everyone's got their own motivations as to why, but a lot of it comes back to just community and belonging, wanting to grow, or that other stage of trying to transition into the next stage of their career.
That's fantastic. Thanks for that, Trent. So let's talk vinyl. The line that stood out to me that turns meeting into action. What was happening in firms that made you think like we need something specifically built for this?
I think this just comes from working in software for a long time and understanding the dynamics of the industry. I say better than most, but genuinely, I think we sit really close to it, and we've got a really good finger in all the pies to understand it better than most people. There are like other products. You could use Microsoft Teams, you can use Fireflies, but my big gamble that I had to put down is that I don't think any of them will care about the accounting industry. I don't think any of them will do the work to integrate into the accounting technology stacks. You're not going to find them at an accounting conference anytime soon. They just don't care enough about specific verticals. We understand the vertical inside and out. There are, I don't know, 50 to 100 specific examples in our product that are built with an accounting firm and a bookkeeper in mind that we are centered around. And I say this every time I do a demonstration. Like, if you've got a good idea, you should tell me, because we'll probably build it. Because if it's good for you, it's going to be good for everyone else that we're trying to service at the same time. And we've just had a really good run. Like, we launched this product about 12 months ago. We were telling the world, hey, it's coming. We're doing this. Join the wait list. We put everyone into the product in sort of March, April time. People started recording their first set of meetings and doing all that kind of stuff. And it's just evolved off that. I think we're nearly 3,000 users on the platform today. So it's been 12 months and we've got to that point. We're recording over 350 hours worth of meetings every single day at the moment.
Wow.
It's just the beast that keeps on growing, and everyone's been really excited. Like, the customers are super excited. They understand that we're early, but they can see the momentum we're building and they can see the impact it's having. I think we just understood that note taking was not a new idea, but it was
Definitely.
finally the right time for the industry to start adopting them and getting it pushed back into their tech stacks, particularly with things like the TASA legislations coming through. Accounting firms needing to have better information available on all the conversations they've had with clients, better file note structures. And then I think the evolution of practice management systems, so being able to now integrate back into Carbon, FYI, Zero Practice Manager, some of that wouldn't have been possible, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit of right time, right place. It was a little bit of us looking at how AI was starting to shape how people were working and just understanding that the transcript that comes out of every conversation is the most powerful part. If we can help them capture the transcript, then what they can automate with the transcripts after the fact is endless. Like there's
It's
so many
cool.
things you can do with that. I was testing out our new chat today and I actually managed to look at the meeting, analyze it quickly, and then draft a new scope of work
Yeah.
all in the space of like 5 minutes post a meeting that I'd had yesterday without me having to go and do the heavy thinking and how that looks or works.
Yeah, that's great catch. Is gold because the my point of view, the meeting is the expensive part. It's time, attention, context, and then the moment it ends, the value leaks out unless someone catches, right? And it turns into task that actually move. So that's like gold for me.
Not everyone is in the meeting either. I think that's
Yeah,
the other part. We tried to kill the post-meeting, that meeting everyone has after the meeting to talk about what we're all going to do and who's going to do it. Like, we don't need to do that anymore. You don't need 5 people in a meeting. It can just be 2 people and everyone else can catch the notes and figure out what they need to do next as a result. And I think it's really important understanding the role of who's who in the meeting, who's leading, who's discussing, what decisions need to be made. I think the goal is that, yes, you record the meeting, but you turn up more prepped and more efficient, you execute more efficiently, you're communicating more efficiently. So there's a lot of more work to do around that, but that's the overall consensus of where our focus is.
but just for me to understand, so what kind of conversation does vinyl like help most with? Because it is connected to the accounting apps, right? So it can create tasks automatically. How does it work?
Yeah, so we push meeting summaries back into the practice management system. So once the meeting's finished, you'll have a record of that showing in Carbon or in FYI or Zero Practice Manager. And your team can also access all that information as well. So if they went in the meeting and they want to catch up, they can log in, they can see the meetings that are held with the client, and they can then start asking questions of our AI to get more information out. So it could be job handover, could be, like I said before, a pricing consideration. It can literally be anything, which is awesome. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. So when you zoom out, right, in the industry, so what's like one operational friction that's quietly drain firms, but that doesn't
I
get
think
talked about
I
enough?
think I said that before a little bit. It's I think everyone's talked about the talent issue for a while, like trying to hire team members, trying to find the right team members, trying to keep them. And there's an element, I think it's just trying to find the right people in the right seats. I think outsourcing offshoring has been a big part of that for some people, but some people just haven't been comfortable enough to get it working. And as a result, it means they need to try and find and hire locally. For that, I think we'll start to see a lot more people that want to just do freelance tax. Like they just want to work when they want to work, almost like the gig economy for tax workers and accounting folks who don't want the commitment of like, look, I'm just going to clock in today, I'm going to do a few jobs and then I'm going to clock out and just do what I want without the idea of a 9 to 5 and a full time and whatever. I expect it to get a little bit more flexible, possibly to help accommodate with the shortages that come through. But I expect also that people will continue to find better ways to do outsourcing, offshoring. I think AI helps enable that because your
Sure,
offshoring
100%.
teams now using AI can be much more smarter, efficient. Their spelling, their grammar, like that should no longer be an issue anymore, which is pretty interesting. Which means you can, have a team member producing a certain quality of work if you've got the processes in place that could have been at the same
That's the
level as a
point. The process
junior,
needs to be
junior
there,
or a
right?
mid. That's
Yeah,
right. Process needs to be there for sure.
yeah.
But I still, it's probably process and people. It's definitely not tech. There's stacks of tech and If you figure out how to use it, you'll do well with it. But having the process and the people has always been the hard thing. And that's 10 years ago, 20 years ago, same thing. It was always about process and people. Tech has enabled things to be faster and efficient in some regards, but getting the right people and having your processes in place so you act like a business that's connected and on the same page. I think that's the thing that everyone continues to focus on.
Yeah, 100%. So looking ahead, like 3 to 5 years, what do you think will separate in the tech space, right? Will separate firms that feel calm and in control from firms that stay like reactive?
I mean, I think you said it. If you're reactive, it's because things aren't organized and you're not giving yourself the capacity to to react properly or efficiently. I think, we talk about capacity, like I'm at 100%. It's like you probably should always be at 80% with a 20% buffer. I would say that's the way you can always grow, is if you maintain that 10 to 20% buffer. Uh, 3 to 5 years from now, I think we just keep heading in the same direction, right? Like there's going to be more things in AI that will continue to evolve the work and how the work gets done. I think the talent shortage piece is still going to be an issue, but some of that may be supplemented because of the advancements in the tech enabling your offshoring, outsourcing, or taking over some of the work.
Give more
Therefore, maybe we
capacity
need
as well,
less.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, like I said at the start, I don't find I do less work. I tend to do more work now that I'm like tech enabled, but I think it just depends on the firm. I think they can make those decisions on whether they can work less days or whatever, but I find most people just tend to do more work.
Sure. So, well, in your opinion, what should firms start doing now? To
You just got to lean in. If depending on where you're at, like if you're
yeah,
someone that's already leaning in, I am that person. I'd rather lean in and work through the messy middle that we're trying to figure out. I like understanding everything before it becomes more mainstream, because you can understand the use cases and how it impacts everything. But I think that's, for me, that's where I've always found the opportunity, is that if you stay super close to what's evolving in what's best practice in process, in people, in hiring, in education and training, to tech as well, and I am in more control of my destiny. I can see all the cards that are in front of me. I can choose how I want to play them. Uh, and, I'm a fairly young guy. Like, I got another 20, 30 years. Who knows? I keep doing this for a while, and that'll probably be my
doing the work.
strategy all the way through. So yeah, I'm just going to keep strapping in, head down. But I think for anyone else, it'd be, you just got to lean in and try to keep a finger on the pulse of the things that are important to you. And yeah, it's always been that, though. I think some people just want a lifestyle business. That's cool too. Like, just be happy, be balanced, do what you want to do, spend the time with the people you want to spend time with, and
Here you go.
don't
That's the best
take it all.
advice.
Yeah, don't take it too seriously. Like, the world doesn't end if you don't
Yeah.
get this stuff right. I think a lot of people can fall into that trap, and that's the overwhelm of like, oh, how do I keep up with it all? And it's like, look, break it down. Start with the key problem you need to solve first, have a vision of where you're trying to go first, and work backwards from that. That's the strategy part that I think most people could spend more time on, I think, is having a strategy and a goal, and then just trying to help execute and align to those things.
Trend, love that. So for anyone listening who wants to follow your work, connect, check out Vinyl, the firm, what's the best place to find you?
I'm all over LinkedIn. You can definitely find me there. LinkedIn is probably the best and easiest way to keep up with what's going on. You can jump onto the Vinyl website. It's usevinyl.com. You can also jump onto the firm, which is thefirm.media. And if you're an accounting software supplier or a technology company, we have Journey, which is our agency for accounting SaaS companies. We've worked with, 50, 60 software brands in the last 3 years. And we're very good at what we do. So yeah, it's, but that's it. I'd say LinkedIn is the best place.
Fantastic. Trent, thank you so much. This was really grounded, useful conversation. I appreciate you making the time.
No problems. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.